how should brands be preparing for a potential TikTok shutdown? I think there's this general sense that that might not ever happen, but I think it's good for brands to think about things shutting down in general, right? What's that expression? Never build your house on rented land.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the sort of mindset that I've had with one of my clients, where TikTok has sort of become instrumental to the growth of their business. We're very conscious about not putting all of our eggs in one basket, essentially. And so there's a sort of a feeling of we don't really want to take the platform for granted. And yes, I mean, geopolitical issues aside, it looks like it will probably be extended, but as long as there's sort of like this sort of like looming or impending legal uncertainty with the channel, we feel it's really important to make sure that you're always sort of on the like looking out for other options and trying to find ways to diversify your media so that it's like, it's great. You found this like awesome like cash cow or whatever. You can put money into TikTok and we know it's going to return results at a really high rate. But like, well, what happens if it's not there suddenly? We saw that happen back in January of this year. It was only for like a day or so, but like, I mean, that certainly hit a lot of panic buttons. Going up even to that moment, we were thinking like, well, what are we going to do? Because they are going dark. We don't know how long they're going dark for. It only ended up being a day. But just in that moment, it was really helpful to be able to answer that question and say, like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do about this. And then since then, we have like various amounts of tests that we've put into some of these alternatives. But I think like the short answer to that is, don't put all your eggs in one basket here. Definitely make sure that you're diversifying your media so that if there is some form of interruption, that you're not risking the client's business because you only put your media into the one thing that's working.
Let's get a little more tactical for a second. Tell me how you would look into other channels or maybe some steps that you would take if you were already heavily invested in TikTok, like or a particular platform.
Specifically with TikTok, we know that it's a great way for people to interact. It's a great way for people to like learn about how others are discovering brands, and so there's a lot of brand discovery just by way of how those ads operate and how people interact with TikTok. So you have to look at, I guess, a couple things. Like one, where are people going to look if TikTok is suddenly not available? And two, where can you also like have those similar experiences with what's currently available? And so like with in this instance the tests we ran were very specifically across Meta Reels, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, just feeling like there's sort of a similar experience here with the vertical media and also especially on Meta Reels where there's just like a lot of like user generated content. That's sort of the approach that we took, is just like looking for sort of similar areas that you feel that you can deliver like a similar experience, even if it's not going to be like, quite one to one with TikTok.
Is there anything else that you feel like we didn't discuss that would be helpful for people to know about a potential shutdown?
It's probably not going to happen, but it still could happen. And if anyone is out there and they're running media across TikTok and it's really instrumental to their business, then I think it's really worthwhile having a backup plan in place. The middle of June is when that deadline is looming. So if you haven't started testing and we haven't heard on another deadline extension, it's probably a good time to start considering some of those tests.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.